Hello and welcome to News Central Television with me, Blessings Mosugu. The top stories at this hour. Alleged attempt to cart away sensitive materials from Rivers State Electoral Commission's headquarters ahead of local government elections thwarted. ECOWAS moves to set up force to check the tide of terrorism in the region. Journalist and opposition candidate released from custody in Senegal. We've got the details in a moment. And now the news begins with updates on the political situation in Rivers State, where the Governor Siminalayi Fubara has foiled an alleged attempt by the police team to take over the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RSIEC, during the wee hours of Friday. The policemen, who were said to have been led by a Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, attempted to scale through the gates to cart away sensitive electoral materials meant for the conduct of Saturday's local government election from RSIEC's strong room. However, vigilant security officials alerted principal officers of the commission and relevant government authorities, who immediately informed Governor Siminalayi Fubara of the development. Now, Governor Fubara, who mustered a team of government officials, lawmakers from the state and National Assembly, top political stakeholders and other leaders to foil the attempt, addressed newsmen afterwards. The governor condemned the conduct of the policemen, saying that the IGP was taking his friendship with some Abuja-based politicians too far. He emphasized that local government election was the internal affairs of states and advised the IGP to avoid interference. In the meantime, the Rivers State Police Command has confirmed that it will fully comply with the Federal High Court's judgment barring its involvement in the October 5 local government elections. This announcement came just 24 hours after key members of the People's Democratic Party, led by the state chairman Aaron Chukwuemeka, staged a protest against the election being conducted by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. Protesters marched to the headquarters of the Department of State Services and the State Police Command in Port Harcourt, urging both agencies to respect the court's ruling and withdraw from participating in the poll. Now, while the police assured adherence to the court order, they emphasized that it would not prevent them from addressing any potential security concerns during the election. The State Police Command spokesperson, Grace Iringe Koko, reiterated this in a statement on Thursday, urging citizens to remain peaceful and confirming that the command had thoroughly reviewed the court rulings. Still in a related development, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has said that his administration is determined to support the cause of developing a sustainable democracy and will therefore not tolerate any misguided group or individual attempting to create confusion or any form of instability in the state. Now, the governor also urged every registered voter and leaders of political groups to ensure they are at the polling units on Saturday, the 5th day of October 2024, to participate in the process that will usher in new political leadership in the 23 local government councils. A News Central's correspondent Austin Azu tells us more.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara is unwavering in ensuring the Rivers State local government elections are conducted across the 23 council areas of the state. The governor is meeting with the political class and the generality of the electorate in the state at Government House, Port Harcourt, with the needed assurances of the support of the state governments to the electoral process as it gravitates towards its climax.
But at least I understand that it has nothing to do with any federal agency. It's a state matter. And thirdly, the beginning of this process to the end is between our own. It has nothing to do with any federal judicial institution. So we should understand this fact and play according to the rules.
Governor Fubara regrets why some 7 people are bent on hashing their plots to derail the course of the election, when states that have no duly elected local government councils across the country are planning to do so in order not to run far of the Supreme Court ruling. Fubara revealed how his insistence on peace and determination to follow the electoral process had unsettled some persons.
You know, this election, I'm the greatest loser. My party is not participating. The president, after the Supreme Court invited us, and we had an understanding that to have a compliance duration of 90 days. So what we're doing here is to make sure that even if my party is not participating, the council process must stand for it.
The governor, however, appealed to would-be voters to return to their various AGAs, follow the process, be law-abiding, and eschew violence. Meanwhile, there are heavily armed security personnel stationed at RSIEC head office in Port Harcourt for News Central. I'm Austin Azu.
And our News Central's correspondent, Austin Azu, joins us on the news to speak further on this. Austin, good morning. If you can hear me, what is the situation update in Rivers State as we speak? Austin, are you there? All right, we're having a bit of a technical issue. We'll come back to Austin when we can establish connection. But let's move to more stories and tell you that all 11 political parties participating in the October 9, 2024 local government elections in Plateau State have signed a peace accord for the success of the exercise. This accord signifies a bond and commitment by these parties and their aspirants to ensure the effort put in place by government and other stakeholders in carrying out peaceful and credible polls in the state is not jeopardized. News Central's Chizoba Anyunwe was there and now tells us more.
I want to yarn! Make you yarn! I want to talk! Make you talk!
That was a dance presentation by children representing the different ethnic and religious groups in the state. Their mission was to speak to the hearts of these stakeholders in this exercise to ensure peaceful and credible elections for Plateau State. Governor Caleb Mutfwang, represented by his deputy, challenged the contesting parties to a peaceful outing to consolidate on the progress of the state.
This peace accord demonstrates our dedication to resolving our disputes through peaceful means, upholding democratic principles, and ensuring a fair and transparent electoral process.
The signing of the peace accord was organized by the Plateau State Peace Building Agency in collaboration with the Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission.
Our presence here today reaffirms our commitment to upholding democratic values and preventing any outbreak of violence before, during, or after the election schedule.
The procedure in election is very important in peace building. If you do not follow procedures and you are doing things not transparently, those are some of the signs that could lead to conflict.
For these stakeholders, Plateau will be a more peaceful state if contestants and their supporters maintain decorum before, during, and after the polls.
Peace is the panacea for meaningful development. And therefore, I stand here to charge the players, the politicians, and those who are engaged in bringing the whole thing together that please play according to rules.
My request specially is that in honor of the young girls and boys that came out here to sing and dance, we need to deliver peaceful elections.
When you begin to mainstream peace building in elections and you are conflict sensitive about the elections, definitely we are working hard towards preventing any violence that may occur.
Appending their signatures here holds these political parties to their words to remain true to their commitment in ensuring the rules of the game are upheld. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anioi.
And now we'll go back to Austin Azu, our correspondent, who will be giving us update on the River State political situation. Austin, good morning once again. Please confirm you can hear me.
Did they come to me before?
Okay, so we're still trying to establish connections with Austin, but in no time he'll be giving us more update on what the situation is like in River State. Now, Nigerian women have been tasked to support women in the country aspiring for leadership positions. This was during the 8th Voice of Women Conference and Awards ceremony holding in the nation's capital, Abuja, where women have been tasked to represent a pillar of support for other women to achieve inclusion in governance. News Central's Joshua Imarai reports.
The 2024 Voice of Women Conference holding in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The conference brought together women from all walks of life to help develop actionable strategies aimed at enhancing women representation in leadership roles.
Our discussion will revolve around actionable strategies that enhance women's representation in leadership role, recognizing that inclusive governance is key to achieving national development.
The convener of the conference called on women to unite and support one another in their pursuit of leadership roles.
In your homes, in your places of work, worship, wherever you are, when you see a woman, campaign for her. I also want to call on #1 citizen of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sir, please lend your voice and political will to get the 74 extra seats bill passed by the 10th National Assembly.
Nigeria's Minister of State for Labour urged women not to let their background limit their potential.
So where you come from, where you are living, cannot determine your future. It can't. So where you were born has nothing to do with your future.
The senator representing Kogi North Central Senatorial District urged women in politics to empower other women through better laws and social support.
If you are a woman vying for elective position, it is left for you to connect to the woman by preaching to her that you are going to mitigate, you are going to fill in the gaps that exist in the laws, so that any woman that is married and decides to even be a housewife will know that perchance marriage fails her, perchance home fails her, perchance the community fails her, the government or this will provide a healthy social net for her.
Participants say the conference is expected to build a strategic work plan for women inclusion in governance in the next 12 months. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Marai.
Going back now to our correspondent in River State, Austin Azu. Good morning, Austin. I believe you can hear me now. What is the situation update in River State as we speak?
Yes, the political atmosphere is still tensed, and behind me you can see pro-Fubara supporters. They have taken over the secretariat of the RSIEC, River State Independent Electoral Commission, along the Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway, and most of them are still coming to these premises, knowing fully well what took place early hour this morning, and their own concerns remains that election must hold. Though I have few people here to talk to us, bring us to speed. Okay, let's attend to the gentleman first. Okay, the gentleman, please tell us your name, tell us how the atmosphere looks like.
Well, my name is Sawyer Granville. We are right at the River State Independent Electoral Commission's office. Late last night, we got a signal that some rogue policemen from a sister state came here to hijack material, all in the purpose of trying to stop the elections today. And we know they are doing this thing just to satisfy the FCC minister's urge to stop this election. And they took advantage of the fact that the president is out of the country. They came to do it. So the information came, and the governor of River State, came out with the people of River State to resist them. So we came there, chased them out, and took over the state secretariat So give the people free access to do their work. And as I'm speaking to you right now, I can see that everything is peaceful. The people are just gyrating and they are distributing the material to the local government. What we are saying is this: Rivers State is peaceful. Our governor is peaceful. All they want is violence. The man doesn't want violence. And we are advising, please, if you think you are popular, come to the pool. Come and show your strength in the pool, not to do anything to destabilize the system. We don't want war. We have the capacity to resist anybody, but we are peaceful because the man is peaceful. And again, I just want to remind us, this same man here, some wicked, the FCT minister, our boss, we worked for him, did the same thing when the same opposition came to him. They used federal might against him. We sacrifice our family members. The same man, if he's very much aware, I want to remind him that APC in 2019 election or so didn't have a candidate just because of these things. Supreme Court has ruled in Rivers State, in Nigeria particularly, on the 11th of July. They said every state must conduct local government election, and we are obeying that rule. How can a federal high court, after Supreme Court of the land has ruled, come from behind? They collected something from them, we know, because Justice Livu and the group of justice, they have about 4 of them that have made themselves available to destabilize democracy. I've never seen it before. And the governor through RSIEC has written to the IGP of police.
All right, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Of course, I have a lady who will tell us from another perspective. Okay, please tell us your name and tell us what you have observed so far. Why are you here precisely?
Okay, I am Susan Serekara Winkan, and the chairperson, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Rivers State chapter. I am here because this incident is happening in Rivers State. And secondly, I got the news and I had to come here as the 001 female journalist in Rivers State to know why the situation got to this point. And you can see the Mama crowd behind. I've been able to get some reactions and observation, and they said the people here are showing their solidarity to the governor, that peace should reign. And why I came here, I am not talking in the capacity of union or this. I am talking as an individual and as a woman and a mother to children, that we need peace in Rivers State. And that peace that we want is what we are all here for. We don't want problem. We don't want any problem in Rivers State. Rivers State does not belong to one individual. And for that reason, if this mama crowd and men are here to say solidarity and peace should reign in Rivers, let peace reign. I don't see anything so special about this AG election that should warrant the IG of police to come and barricade this area. What for?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. All right, we'll keep monitoring the process. Okay, we'll have another guest to talk to us. Okay, tell us your name, why you are here.
My name is Honorable Mark Isaac Mark. We are here today to occupy the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission office. That election must hold in Rivers State. The Supreme Court said the Supreme Court gave all the states 19 days to conduct local government election, and the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara put these dates through the Electoral Commission body that October 5th local government election will hold. Now some group of persons from nowhere are trying to obstruct the election not to hold. So the youth of Rivers State, we are here to tell Nigeria that Rivers State election must hold, and that is all. Thank you.
All right, we have heard from the few guests that spoke to us. They are head-bent on ensuring that they follow the governor's directive that the election must hold tomorrow. And we hope that there will be no security glitches ahead of the election.
All right, Austin Azu, thank you so much for bringing us update from Rivers State. And of course, we're looking forward to seeing how the elections turn out and that peace is finally restored in Rivers State. Moving to more stories now, let's also tell you that Justice Evelyn Maha of the Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order barring the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, also called the Vehicle Inspection Office, VIO, from further stopping vehicles on the road, impounding or confiscating vehicles, and imposing fines on motorists. In a judgment on Thursday, Justice Maha issued the order on a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by a human rights activist and public interest attorney, Abubakar Marshall. Also affected by the order are the Director of Road Transport, the Area Commander, Jabi, and the Team Leader, Jabi, and the Minister of the FCT, also listed as respondents. Now, Justice Maha upheld Marshall's argument that no law empowers the respondents to stop, impound, confiscate, seize, or impose fines on motorists. And now to security matters. Lawmakers at the Kaduna State House of Assembly have been tasked to utilize the skills and expertise of women in the state in its peace-building processes, saying that these will produce more enduring results. And this was during a retreat for lawmakers in the state, which held in Abuja, to help localize, implement, and oversee the state's peace and security agenda. Amadine Uyi reports.
Women in Nigeria form almost 50% of the nation's population. This makes women critical partners in nation building, as their skills and expertise cannot be overlooked.
Women form a very critical aspect and segment of our society. In Nigeria, they occupy over 49% of our population, meaning everything that impacts on peace building and conflict have direct impact on them. And their participation, their inclusion is very critical in any discussion that we bring about sustainable development, sustainable peace.
While many believe that the ability of women to foster peace in troubled communities has not been utilized, some say this is necessary, as they also bear the brunt of conflicts when they occur. At this retreat for lawmakers from the Kaduna State House of Assembly, organized by the Clean Foundation, peace-building experts deliberate on inclusion of women in peace-building processes, saying this will make the process more enduring.
Every sustainable peace-building effort that have women participate have remained enduring, and we believe in Kaduna State is not going to be different.
We should begin to see women as actors that can contribute to peace and security. Why? Because they have the potentials. We often underutilize the potentials of women, and that's why we are unable to have sustainable peace.
They express confidence that the training session for lawmakers from the Kaduna State House of Assembly will equip them effectively and make them more open to pushing gender-responsive policies and laws.
We expect to see the lawmakers, the legislators in the Kaduna State House of Assembly fully equipped with knowledge, skills, and capacity to promote the women peace and security agenda. We want to see them becoming he-for-she champions. They only have one female in the State House of Assembly, but we can make the men to become gender champions. And what we mean is that they can fight for the rights of women and ensure that women are carried along when it comes to good governance, when it comes to peace and security, among other responsibility bestowed on them.
We get commitment from the parliamentarians to ensure that they appropriate, they deliberate, and they oversight the state action plan on WPS, and at the end of the day, they can categorically make legislation for the independence of the Kaduna Multi-Door courthouses.
Experts here at the retreat say the training received will help the state lawmakers localize, implement, and oversight the state's peace and security agenda. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Now, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, heads of state and government are set to establish a 5,000-strong kinetic force to combat terrorism in the region. This decision follows the alarming disclosure that 1,605 terror attacks were recorded across West Africa between January and August 2024, resulting in 6,956 deaths. ECOWAS Commission President Omar Toure shared these figures during an international lecture organized by the News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja on Thursday. Toure, represented by Isaac Armstrong, the Program Officer for Regional Security, broke down the statistics. Burkina Faso accounted for 611 attacks and 3,810 fatalities. Mali saw 546 attacks with 1,424 deaths. Nigeria experienced 238 attacks with 905 fatalities. Niger reported 153 attacks and 676 deaths. Benin Republic recorded 44 attacks with 66 fatalities, and Togo saw 13 attacks with 75 deaths. Now, Toure emphasized that while the regional initiative is critical, it does not absolve individual member states of their responsibility to ensure national security. Now, the Lagos State government, through the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, continues with a trial ride on the Lagos Rail Mass Transit (LRMT) Red Line on Thursday, the 3rd of October 2024. Now, the train, which took off from Oyingbo train station, marks a crucial step towards the official launch of the metro system aimed at transforming public transportation in Lagos. News Central's Chidima Ona has more.
In a bid to enhance seamless and efficient commuting for Lagosians, President Bola Tinubu commissioned the Red Line Rail in February 2024. Spanning 37 kilometers, the North-South Rail route connects Agbado to Marina, with 14 stations along the way. Currently, there's one train in operation, but 6 additional trains are expected in the first quarter of 2025, 3 for the Red Line and 3 for the Blue Line. During the recent test ride, the head of Corporate Communications, Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, highlighted the station's operational guidelines, emphasizing how these measures will ensure smooth and hassle-free commuting for passengers.
The first thing you need to use the system is your carry card. This is a card that is used by all regulated transport services in Lagos State. And so you need to fund your card for your trip to be able to use it. Then when you get to the station, you go through the turnstile. From the turnstile, you come to the platform. At the platform, you are supposed to stand behind the dotted lines, the yellow line. We have a monitoring center where the movement of the train is monitored, and if there's going to be any obstruction of the train system, there's a way also to communicate with the ground staff and even the driver on the train.
Several Lagosians on board shared their experiences, praising the speed and efficiency of the trains. Many highlighted how the rail system has significantly improved their commuting experience by offering a faster and safer alternative to navigating the city's often congested roads.
It's more faster, like an hour to where I'm going, wherever I'm going. So if I'm going through the bus, at least 2 or 3 hours, but with the train, an hour is okay. I'll get there very fast.
Actually, this is my first time of boarding the train from Oyingbo down to Agbado. Now we are going from Agbado down to Oyingbo. It's okay, smooth, no itches at all. I'm using it. It's very smooth. The road is very smooth, and there's it's comfortable.
The Lagos State government seems clearly in its commitment to improving the city's transport infrastructure, and the introduction of the Red Line is a significant milestone in reducing traffic congestion and promoting efficient public transit across Lagos. In Lagos for News Central, Chidima Ona.
Coming up on the news, Senegalese journalist and opposition candidate released from custody after criticizing Prime Minister. We'll tell you more after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. Now, 2 journalists and an opposition candidate in Senegal were released from custody on Thursday after being summoned over remarks critical of the Prime Minister and the police, according to their lawyers. Journalists Cheikh Yerim Sek and Bougain Guedani, a candidate in the upcoming parliamentary elections, had been questioned for challenging financial figures presented by Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko. Last week, Sonko described Senegal's economic situation as catastrophic, accusing the previous administration of manipulating financial data. The government, which has been in office since April, is facing mounting criticism from the opposition and rights group over a series of convictions, detentions, and police summons targeting political figures and journalists. In a joint statement on Thursday, Amnesty International and 5 other civil society groups voiced their concerns over what they described as the systematic targeting of political figures and journalists through legal actions for spreading false information and defamation. Now, e-hailing drivers in Johannesburg will be protesting this morning following a tragic incident that has drawn attention to the rising violence they face while working. A heartbreaking video circulating on social media shows an e-hailing driver being brutally shot and killed by two men posing as customers. This shocking act of violence reminds of the dangers that many drivers encounter each day as they provide a vital transportation service. In response to these latest and horrific crime, e-hailing drivers are uniting to demand justice, security, and better protection measures. Now, News Central's Bongani Siziba is on the ground as we cross over to her for more details on this. Bongani, good morning. What is the situation currently in Johannesburg?
Good morning, blessings. We just missed a procession now of one Uber driver who was killed last week. They are taking him to the boat offices. This is because of the crimes that are happening here in South Africa, especially in Ilbro and Ubel, where the Uber drivers are saying that they are being attacked every day. And we understand what they are saying because we have seen it happening. Not only the Uber drivers, also customers sometimes are being attacked. But in particular, this driver that was killed last week, he was called, requested by allegedly customers. When he got to that place, he thought that maybe they wanted a ride, but they robbed him and then later killed him. So these are some of the attacks that these Uber drivers and Bolts are facing. But I have one guy, an Uber driver, who is here just to tell us more about the challenges that they are facing and also what it is that they want the government to do. Thank you for joining us here at News Central. What are some of the challenges that you guys are facing on the streets?
There is a challenge of safety, which is the most prevalent one. And we've been consistently calling for interventions from the air companies themselves, but also from our government, because there is lack of vetting of users of these platforms. And as a result, the criminals have find an easy way, an easy target on e-hailing drivers. And we are experiencing a lot of robberies. But also beyond that, we are also encountering challenges where we are attacked by our counterparts. So there is a lot of issues of safety that we are having. And we've been calling the government to say they need to regulate the app companies in a situation where they get compelled to implement these security measures, because currently they do not care and they don't do all these security checks.
Gun violence in South Africa is so rampant. And some of you guys have experienced this. What are some of the experiences that you have encountered?
It's been really bad. Personally, I've been robbed a number of times at gunpoint. As I speak to you, I lost my brother who was gunned down during a hijack, who was also an e-hailing driver. And as we speak, it's fortunate for this incident that it was captured on camera. But just within this week, we've lost more than 5 other drivers apart from this driver. So this is a prevalent thing, and unfortunately, these things don't get publicized and are not there, but a lot of drivers are dying on a daily basis.
Yes, blessing. We have heard from one of the drivers, the encounters that they are. The challenges rather that they are facing in the streets. But it's not only the Uber drivers that are also facing these challenges, also as customers. I'm sure that also in Nigeria, we know that there's also Ubers. They have their own challenges that they face. But this comes at the height when we have seen gun violence in South Africa being so rampant. Over the weekend, we woke up to the news that 18 people were gunned down that were at a ceremony. So it's one thing that is very rampant in South Africa, gun violence, but it's back to you in the studio now.
All right, Bongani, thank you so much for that update. And it's quite sad to see what the e-hailing drivers are going through. And again, in the wake of the gun violence, and we're hoping that there's a favorable response from the government, especially when it comes to prioritizing the safety of these drivers that provide utmost security and mobility for the people. So thank you once again, Bongani Siziba. And now the Democratic White House candidate Kamala Harris hit the campaign trail on Thursday alongside Liz Cheney, a prominent Republican critic of Donald Trump. The pair paired together in Wisconsin, a crucial swing state where Cheney, the daughter of former Vice President Dick Cheney, urged Americans to reject Trump and support his rival. Vice President Harris and the former Congresswoman addressed moderate Republicans and independents, calling for patriotism to take precedence over partisanship in the upcoming election. Cheney's message emphasized the need to stand against Trump's influence within the Republican Party. Meanwhile, Trump held a rally in Michigan, another key battleground state where he repeated false claims of election fraud claims that led to the violence of January 6th. His appearance followed a significant legal development on Wednesday in his criminal case over an alleged plot to overturn the 2020 election, with prosecutors arguing he had no presidential immunity for his private criminal effort and revealing new evidence of his alleged misconduct.
I tell you, I have never voted for a Democrat, but this year I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. And in this country, under our Constitution, our President has a particular solemn obligation to ensure and guarantee the peaceful transfer of power. Since the beginning of the Republic, every president in our history has fulfilled that duty. Every president until Donald Trump.
We love our country, and that really is the binding factor in us all being together and taking the time to be together, to really just renew and remind everyone of what is at stake, but born out of love that we have this fight. And I want to thank you, Liz Cheney, for reminding us that regardless of party affiliation, is a factor that binds us all. But Liz Cheney really is a leader who puts country above party and above self, a true patriot, and it is my profound honor to have your support.
And now to business. President Bola Tinubu is set to introduce major tax reforms that could bar revenue-generating agencies from collecting revenues on behalf of the federal government. Under this plan, a new single agency, the Nigeria Revenue Service, will be established to handle all revenue collection tasks. This move comes as part of a broader effort by the federal government to boost revenue collection through a series of tax reforms. These reforms aim to enhance the efficiency of collecting direct taxes and various levies and will prevent agencies such as the Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Ports Authority, and 60 other revenue-generating bodies from continuing their current revenue collection roles. The goal of these changes is to streamline the tax collection process, ensuring that all taxable entities contribute fairly and that the revenue collected is maximized to fund public services and infrastructure development. The policy was outlined on Thursday when President Tinubu submitted 4 executive bills to the National Assembly, signaling a significant shift in the government's approach to tax reforms. Still in business, the conclusion of the $1.28 billion ExxonMobil Seplat divestment deal, along with similar transactions in Nigeria's oil sector, is expected to boost oil production by 21.4%, raising output to over 1.7 million barrels per day. President Bola Tinubu announced in his Independence Day broadcast that the deal would be signed soon. In August 2024, Nigeria produced 1.4 million barrels per day, excluding condensate, according to OPEC. Now, experts predict that additional output from condensate and other assets, including those ExxonMobil and Owando, will help Nigeria reach its 2024 budget target of 1.7 million barrels per day at $77 per barrel. This increased production is seen as vital for stabilizing Nigeria's economy and improving its revenue generation. And to sports now, the Flying Eagles will depart from their base in Abuja to enjoy full utilization of the facility and maximum concentration in camp. The head coach, Ali Zubeiru, speaking ahead of the team's departure, clamored for moving to a place where they will fully utilize the facility and also reduce distraction and focus on the task ahead. The Flying Eagles have been in Abuja preparing for the WAFU B Under-20 AFCON in Togo, which kicks off in October 17, 2024. The coach said the Under-20s will likely shift camp to the country's southwest. BSN Sports scooped that the team will have their final preparation at Remo Stars FC's 5,000-seater stadium in Ogun State. The Flying Eagles are drawn against Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso in Group B's sub-regional Under-20 AFCON qualifiers in Togo. And still in sports, the Paris 2024 Olympics and Paralympics Investigative Committee, established by the Minister of Sports Development, John Owan-Eno, held its first hearing on Thursday in Abuja. Now, Victor Okongbe, who is the secretary of the committee, revealed Thursday's meeting session took place at the media center of the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Now, the minister, alongside Permanent Secretary FMSD Tinuke Wati and Federation of Elite Athletes Department Head Bamiduro Olumide, appeared before the committee. Now, the committee's primary objective is to revisit and address pressing issues that tarnished Nigeria's reputation at the Games. These include the omission of Favor Ofili's name, doping concerns surrounding some athletes, and the alleged contract agreement between Actively Black and the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Additionally, the committee will examine the code of conduct amongst Team Nigeria members. We're still talking sports, and to more stories in sports, Belgian manager Hugo Broos has left Al Ahly winger Percy Tau out of South Africa's squad for the upcoming AFCON 2025 qualifiers in October. The Bafana coach finalized his 23-man squad to face Congo-Brazzaville in the upcoming international break taking place in October. In a media statement, Broos explained that Tau was omitted due to personal circumstances, adding that it was up to the player to share details if he felt comfortable. Now, Tau, who was also excluded from South Africa's September matches against Uganda and South Sudan, will miss both legs against Congo-Brazzaville on the 11th and the 15th of October. Now, South Africa currently sits with 4 points from their first 2 games in the AFCON 2025 qualifiers. 2 wins in their upcoming matches will likely secure their place in the tournament. Still talking sports, teams taking place in the new Club World Cup in June-July next year will be allowed to replace players during the tournament if the transfer window in their country is open at the time, World Football's governing body FIFA said on Thursday. Now, FIFA member associations of participating clubs would also have the option of opening an exceptional registration window in June before the event begins to sign players. The Club World Cup in the United States is scheduled to run from the 15th of June to the 13th of July, but that period either coincides with ongoing leagues where the transfer window is closed or countries where the window is open and player contracts end. And that's all on the news at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. Now, we did mention that alleged attempt to cart away sensitive materials from River State Electoral Commission's headquarters ahead of local government elections thwarted. We also said ECOWAS moves to set up force to check the tide of terrorism in the region. And finally, we mentioned that journalists and opposition candidates have been released from custody in Senegal. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Mosugu.